More than 400 years after the first enslaved Africans arrived on American shores, one of the descendants of those enslaved people made history, becoming the first African-American governor in the nation. It was a bright and cold January day in 1990 when Lawrence Douglas Wilder made a transformative vow.
As Governor of Virginia.
As Governor of Virginia.
According to the best of my ability.
According to the best of my ability.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
It's a great day for Virginia.
One of the great questions of the day, when Doug Wilder became the first African-American governor in our nation's history, was simple, yet profound. Was this event an aberration? Or did the walls of injustice truly crumble? 30 years later, the answer is clear. According to Ray Boone, the late civil rights activist and publisher of the Richmond Free Press, Governor Wilder's election took the ceilings off all our ambitions. Across our nation, people of all backgrounds are taking oaths, working in positions of high authority and responsibility. After Douglas Wilder's inauguration, this has become the new normal.
Everyone stands on the shoulders of others, and I think that's something important to keep in mind, and I know that Governor Wilder would be the first to acknowledge that. And he's had broad shoulders for others to stand on, not only in the Commonwealth of Virginia, but nationally. And, you know, it goes without saying that breaking those barriers and accomplishing the senior levels of leadership, that does send a very, very important message relative to opportunity.
Part of what it represented for so many of us was the real American dream. You know, the real opportunity that any of us have as an American to now take on a position of true leadership. And if it could happen in Virginia, we thought, my goodness, it could happen just about anywhere.
To this day, after having covered elections really since the 1960s, there was never an election like Doug Wilder's. The international coverage, not just the national coverage, was blinding. You couldn't go anywhere without running into a camera from someplace around the world. So it made a big difference in terms of Virginia's image. It changed Virginia's image. And I think in that way, it contributed to the demographic diversity that has transformed Virginia.
I don't think this nation, particularly U.S. history, will ever forget his place in it. And so whether or not you were born in that historical context, his achievement transcends time period. And it's something that all of us must stop, pause, and talk about. He rewrote the history books. Douglas Wilder rewrote the history books.
And history records Governor Wilder's performance as governor as an exemplary steward of Virginia's finances, an achievement that perhaps defied expectations.
He has a reputation as being socially progressive, but fiscally conservative. As bad as times were financially during his term, he knew that Virginia would recover from the recession and that we would have needs that we have to address. And so he basically was the champion of a general obligation bond issue that would benefit building projects at Virginia's colleges and universities, its mental health facilities, and its park system. It was approved overwhelmingly by the people of Virginia.
He left a great hallmark in terms of excellence in administering government in a way that was both loyal to fiscal soundness and social justice.
The victory in 1989 didn't come easily in a state with only 15% of its population African American, and it provides a lesson for all people of all backgrounds in how to overcome negative and false stereotypes.
Doug Wilder cares about the people of Virginia. That's why he went over 3,500 miles to every county in Virginia.
Doug Wilder practiced what is known as retail politics, covering every county and township in the Commonwealth during the election and on listening tours once he was in office.
When you're breaking down barriers the way Governor Wilder did, you have to reach out to people personally. You have to let them see that you don't wear horns, that they like you. And once you like a person, you're much less likely to vote against them and certainly to campaign against them.
He had this uncanny ability to reach out and communicate with people at all levels and from all ethnic backgrounds. It didn't really matter. And I don't think they saw him as the first African American governor. They saw him as Doug Wilder, governor.
he has been my mentor and friend, and he's the one responsible for mentioning my name and thought that I might be a little boy from Petersburg who could fill these shoes, certainly. But not just me from a personal side, but many people, black, white, men, women of all ethnicities, saw themselves that they could do that. And I like the way he said that from Church Hill to Capitol Hill was a short distance, but it was a mighty steep climb. But he always climbed not just for himself, but he climbed with us and for us.
With his parents' encouragement but limited financial support, Governor Wilder remembers often having to walk from his Churchill home to the Virginia Union campus where he earned his degree in chemistry. He would later attend Howard University Law School.
But the key ingredient to any achievement in those regards is education, because that is the key that unlocks most of the barring doors. And if you can do that, you have begun the long, arduous journey of moving up that ladder of success.
As a teacher myself, when you ask children, what would you like to be when you grow up? The first thing you hear, a policeman, a teacher, a fireman. Now they can have aspirations to go up to the governor's office, and shall I say, even the President of the United States, because Governor Wilder was governor.
His commitment to education is seen today at both Virginia Commonwealth University, where the School of Government and Public Affairs bears his name, and at his alma mater, which proudly houses the archives of his public service.
I think it just kind of speaks to the university and its prestigious people who've been here before in the past, and, you know, as a young African-American male, just kind of try to keep that path going along.
When you walk in Virginia University, you feel passionate that someone who was a first elected black governor in the state of Virginia, you just feel like, oh, that could inspire me to do wonderful things.
Today, Governor Wilder spends his days at Virginia Commonwealth University as a distinguished professor, challenging the next generation to make a difference.
I would like to encourage more young people to understand that you don't have to be in elected office to lead. You don't have to have a title to lead. Speak, demand, insist. For those who are there, if they don't do it, vote them out.
As Governor Wilder walks across the VCU campus, he can see a virtual tapestry of all cultures, races, and religious beliefs. The ramification of his election and his competent service in office are clear.
Thank you so much for everything that you've done and accomplished. My father actually mentioned not too long ago, it's one of his proudest moments.
I've known him most of my life, and he's always been an outstanding citizen, you know, as far as, you know, trying to help the community and giving back to the community.
Many of the experiences that he's advocated for and the things that he's pushed for, whether it's education, whether it's health, whether it's economic investment, he really knows and understands the plight of the people and the concerns of the people. And I think that has always been something that he has taken very seriously. And regardless of whether it was from the post of being a member of the General Assembly, or from being a governor, or from being mayor, that's something that he's always taken to heart.
We're a multifaceted society, and because of his courage and his commitment, and ultimately because of his love of people, I think we have an example that will always be a shining example for us to try to measure up to in our nation.
A man who embodies more positive and powerful personal energy than most, Doug Wilder does not dwell on the past. Instead, he looks toward a future where the diversity he helped to spark will play a vital role in the American political system and beyond.
The one thing I think we should never forget is that Governor Wilder is still alive. He's still active. He's still involved. His legacy continues to grow. The world needs another Douglas Wilder.
People said I was absolutely crazy to even think I could run for lieutenant governor and then ultimately governor. And yet I found it the most rewarding experience that I've ever had in my life. That is knowing Virginia, knowing the people, recognizing that the differences between us are so few if we took the time to share what they were and to understand what it means.